uh, they're fucking with my stream. I see. Phone's a little ahead. Fucking with my. Hey, Rocky, how's it down there? How is everything? Forgot my son's playing video games, so it kills my feed, which it shouldn't, but it does. It affects the quality. Stream, I see. Phone's a little ahead. Stream, I see. Oh, mute the motherfucker. Yeah. I'm gonna have to start again. Just use the phone. Yeah. So I kind of didn't consider that my son is on the game. Looking forward to life, actually. Oh, that's positive. Hey, Vernetta, thank you for joining me. You leaving?
No, I'm in the garage.
All right. You quit playing for a minute?
Quit playing the game.
Damn, why is this computer is not picking up the signal very good tonight?
I'm not downloading shit.
It is not picking up very good, which
Right.
causes my picture to be messed up. Hey, Anise, thank you for joining. Yeah, they're messing with my stream tonight. Hey, what's happening? Yeah, they're not playing the game now, and they're still messing with my stream, I see. Wonder if I should switch to the phone. Oh, you think the computer ain't picking up the...
That sucks.
Well, I mean, other than that. Yeah, I'm not getting good quality. Y'all can't be seeing me too good. I'm seeing the same thing that y'all see. Oh, let me just mute this shit for a second. Yeah, they're doing something. Last night was clear, and then tonight they want to fog me up. So it's not getting any better. Because the computer shows me one thing that it's not going good through this. And so my son got off the game and should have got better and ain't better. It's still messed up. Oh well. Hate this poor quality. When you check out last night's quality compared to tonight, it ain't really the same. Hey, Crazy Sarge, what's happening? Just wanted everybody to bathe in the full moon energies. I wasn't going to go that long. But I'll make do. Hey, it looks so bad. Okay, maybe it got a little better. According to that, it ain't. It's like, it looks like, according to the communication from the internet on my computer, which is full, to how YouTube is picking it up and giving it the signal. They're doing this to me again. They're making it blurry, and there's nothing on my internet but me. So they're attacking the feed again. Oh well. Oh well, I can just go through it. So I'm not gonna go too long. Oh, they're killing me tonight. Go get the key from Keelan. I'm broadcasting. Whoa. There we go. What'd you forget? I want to give this out. We give this out to all directions. We give this out to the energies that the moon is releasing. So we have the sacred fire that matches the glow of the sacred moon. You know, the sound can clear too. And as every show, our sponsor is Drakkar, for the man who has nothing. And from Michigan, we have Founders Porter. So pop them if you got them, smoke them if you want them. All right. So I'm gonna start with two things. Someone asked last night to do another breakdown of the basketball game. No, I'm not gonna start there. Welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host. Eight Wind is timeless. I am the holder of the infinite ball game created by the Hero Twins. I am the Galactic Daddy-O, sitting on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. And so some of the bugs seem to be worked out now. I've said what's happening to Rocky. Yeah, Bernetta, I said what's happening. PJ, good evening. Whoops, not there. Be stealing some shit, man. You taking too long to just pick up a bag. What's that? What? Just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you. The one, Aggie Pride. All right, see you. Crazy Sarge, I think I said what's happening. Anise. James, good evening. As forever. No, I'm not related to him. That cat is from New York. Dread, what's happening? Strong discernment. What's going on? Wilder Fury 3, we'll see what kind of numbers it can generate. Don't know that it can generate what the last fight did. We'll see. I mean, they both been off almost a year and a half going without any actual work. So we'll see how sharp it is. But tonight I'm going to start like this. So Miss Love and Above Witch, okay, quit sending bugs at me. Stop it. I haven't attacked you in 3 years. I ain't said shit about you. I only mentioned you with that love and above shit. So quit sending these goddamn bugs here. That is very easy magic. I do not want to have to counter you. Now, I've been up in your house, honey. Remember you made that commercial where you got all that money? You live over there. So you seem to be attracted to a color. Color don't protect the kind of shit I do. The color don't protect the czar shit. So please stop. All right? Enough is enough. You didn't attack my friends with these damn bugs. Come on. All right? I don't want to have to throw no energy arrows in your ass. You see what I did to your dudes. I'm not going to marry you because I'm not going to be under you. Even though you think the sex I'm on top, that I'm in charge, I know better. So stop. All right, stop. You doing that money thing, keep doing that money thing. I ain't trolled you about that in maybe 3 years now. So you can stop that shit. Second thing is somebody wanted me to talk about the game again with Giannis. The biggest tell of the whole game was Booker's lack of being able to penetrate. Booker was getting one-on-ones with Portis several times, couldn't take Portis, couldn't stop on a dime. All of a sudden, Portis is hitting threes, rebound and making a difference. Lopez, slow as he was, didn't play a whole lot. Now, Giannis went to the line 17, 18 times. That's kind of a tell. Not to say he wasn't getting fouled, but it was a little much. Scored 50 on the 50th anniversary. Holiday was made to look like a superstar. The same with Middleton, the whole series. They seemed like they was the big three. So the biggest breakdown you get is the lack of play from anybody. You had, what's his name, number 99, that's bounced around the league, that journeyman. He was the number 2 option. If Booker wasn't scored, they was giving it to him. Remember, he hit the 4-point play? So that was a big tell. All of a sudden, Booker ain't the number 1 option. A lot of times it was Paul. So that was a tell on. Giannis played well, but again, you throw that wall up and dudes ain't hitting that shot. But that didn't happen, did it? No, they played well. So I think my Portis shot, and I hate I stepped on the remote because that Portis shot showed it the best. It showed clearly the manipulation. So that's my breakdown. Bugs like wasp and shit. Nah, just like fleas. The first thing she sent at me was freaking fleas, which I got cats, and I ain't even had them. Fleas are eating up one of my neighbors right now. I know that's, the autistic boy, their house. He's getting it eat up with fleas or bed bugs. I can't tell. One or the other is tearing him up. So I'm killing these damn worms, fruit fly like things. So she needs to stop. That's all. Yeah, I came out early because the full moon is peaking right now. I was listening to Brother Bomber. So the full moon is within peak. So I wanted to bring these energies right now where the full moon was still in peak. So I got a little candle burning back here slowly. So just wanted to come on and put these. I'm drinking some Trulies. Okay, lone play. Thank you for joining me. How does one engage in the firm of magical? How does one engage in that firm of magical? Well, I mean, what I got on her for is she's saying that really abundance and money come from you not worshiping money. That like we was talking about last night, it's success. It's more success than just money. It's people in this country have been successful without making a lot of money. I mean, we have parents that had 10, 11, 12 children that put them all through college. Just working hard. So no magic in that other than the magic of the family bond and one pushing another. So to say that just the only abundance is money is wrong. And to say you'll strive for money is wrong. But that's her thing. Like I said about a seer didn't try to cheat me, he tried to cheat some others that listened to him through one of my podcasts, which I thought was wrong, but he didn't really do anything to me. He didn't cheat me. I knew better. So she needs to stop. Hey, Lorenzo. Oh, okay. You just getting off? Okay. This damn beer is strong, 6.5 strong. And smoking good shit. I went outside and smoked a joint. My brother gave me some of that gas from Michigan, and so I've been smoking joints. And I should have brought the joint up here to show it. I'm the worst joint roller in the world. My cousin could take one little paper and he could make it look damn near like a cigarette. My father-in-law, my son's grandfather was like that too. He could just make the perfect shit. I have to take the 1 1/4 paper, tear one in two, and take the top and add it to the other, and it still doesn't look that good. It's the boys come back in here, I have them bring it to me. So I smoked the joint earlier, but we have the Hamilton device. Definitely, this is the baddest shit in the 2020 for concentrate, no doubt. So I've been getting it in today, and it's hot. It's hot. We're supposed to get some thunderstorms. We'll see, but it is hot up here. It is still 88, 89 degrees right now. I'm watching myself over here. Guess this one ain't gonna make Facebook right off. Got to call the cable company and definitely upgrade. They since their new company bought, their service hasn't went as well. I'll say that. Yeah, our power is very real. So, I mean, to answer your question, it's like magic. You have to practice it for a long time and find out what your magic power is. That's all. Your joints all ugly with holes in them from stems. No, I take all that out. I got grinders. Strong discernment. Floating in Dubai. Desert storms. There you go. That's smooth, strong discernment. No stems. I got grinders. I make my own hash. I got pressers. When a little friend that just left here I was fucking with, he said he had some Afghanistan hash. But I make my own hash. You know, when you get a grinder, they got a screen. You just take that screen and you just rub the flour over it. And you look underneath, that's hash. And so what I do is I make so much hash, put it in the joint, and then put the flour on top of that. Last night, I even put a little of this concentrate, because concentrate melts fairly easy. It's sticky anyway. And then you can like melt a little bit and rub it in the paper. Make it a little more potent. I don't like, you got the heat index of 101. Up here, I know earlier I was talking to somebody, and up here, the humidity was at 50%, and that was earlier today. So it's probably, let me see what it is now. But like it's hot. This air been on since noon. I've been running air all day today. Here it is. It says still 88. What does it say? 82. Okay, it looks like we finally gonna get rain because we hit with a drought. It's gonna be like 93, 91, 91, 88, 95, 93, 88 going into next Thursday. Humidity is 73%. This is Minnesota. People forget we nothing but a water state. 73% humidity right now. Do you know what that feels like? That's sticky. Hopefully we'll get rain because we are under serious drought. Slight wind. But humidity is 73%. Yeah. We're a high humidity state. So everything seems off nowadays. Is it me, or does it feel like the world is ending? Well, I mean, once you get an awareness, it doesn't matter what they do. You know, it's like if they do end it all, that's fine. You just be one sitting there, and then you just push your awareness out as it ends. So it doesn't have to end for you and your awareness. It only ends for this fake stuff. I mean, that's what, you know, they're desperate. They are so desperate now. All this fake is so desperate. That's what this agenda all is. This agenda they pushing out right now is about that. It's about they're losing their control. As they call it the Minneapolis effect. The people rose up against bullshit. You know, people tired of their human sacrifices. That's the biggest thing I get out of it. Is like we tired of human sacrifice that this thing is based on. This thing is based on human sacrifice. Even if they don't kill the person, they still kill the name of that person. If it's a Hollywood person or whoever, the ideal of them still dies. So regardless if you think Kobe and his daughter's dead or not, that ideal is dead. That, you know, that thing is dead. And that's good enough for them a lot of times. I mean, a lot of times they do want the blood, but sometimes the human sacrifice is symbolic. And you know, I should have made a video on the opening Olympics. That shit was so funny watching these people. Seems like we're going on another lockdown. This little girl won't let me smoke. I gotta wait till she goes to sleep. PJ, that's funny. That's funny. That's why I like this stuff. You know, I like this stuff because it don't. Well, as my daughter-in-law says, it does have a smell, but it doesn't smell as strong. And with the air on, and I got 2 fans blowing on me too, because these lights get hot. I'm sitting under, and I forgot to turn the main light on. I forgot, but this seems to be enough. But I forgot to turn the main light on. Wasn't thinking. But there seems to be enough. So, had a big protest due to the forced vax for hospital workers, and that's what they're trying to do to the NFL players. They're trying to, hold them checks back. And we know NFL players only get paid if they play or dress up. Now they're saying if anybody even in your office, so say the general managers gets the drip, they could cancel the game for that and not pay you. And now they threatening if you ain't taking the drip, you ain't gonna get paid. Truly ain't no joke. They had a 5%. I had to order some new carts. They won't be in until tomorrow. Oh, bet. Had a few of those where you get buzzed. Have a few of those, you would get buzzed. Yeah, definitely. And that was the thing. Like in Michigan, the stuff is so expensive at the dispensaries, where the hustlers, it ain't as expensive. So that's what's interesting. But wax lasts me forever. DeAndre Hopkins spoke out against it. Watch him later. Yeah, I saw that. I saw him talking about that. Hey, Meech, thanks for joining. But Hopkins is, again, the missed checks. That's the thing. The missed checks that you living off per diem until in camp. What camp is? Some people reporting today. Everybody's reporting by Monday, I think. Some people got rookies in camp all week. So what you thinking the rookie gonna do? Rookie gonna follow what he told because he want to make it. And how dirty they'll do? They'll have a rookie go through that whole procedure. My cigar's over there. I didn't bring it over. That's all right. And the rookies will have to do it, but he gonna do it to get them checks. That's what's gonna come down to. He can talk that shit, but when it come down to checks, I mean, if you're making $800,000 a week or more, I mean, think about it. If you there's only 16 weeks. There's only 16 weeks. So if you're making 20, 30 million, you're getting 1.2 point something a week once the season starts. So the average person ain't gonna turn away from that. They ain't gonna turn away from that. So we'll see. Titania, good evening. Thank you for joining in. I appreciate it. So yeah, I came in early just so we all can bathe in these moon energies. My daughter just called me. It's like, why is the moon red or orange? It's kind of orangish looking up here. It could be from the smoke from Canada a little bit too, but very beautiful moon. It's cloudy here, so I doubt I'll see it. The last 2 nights been really beautiful. So, but thank you for joining me, Miss Morris. Miss or Mrs. Funny how black this beard looks. See how black it looks? Really a light brown, though. If you look at the bubbles, that's the true color. But it is strong. Use your magic on the stock market. Stay home and get some money. That stuff is poison. That stuff is poison. Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. Miss Morris. There you go. Tatiana says Miss Morris. There we go. Do you get into mushrooms? Don't mention mushrooms unless you're sending me some. Yeah, I'll take mushrooms. It's like the same effect. I don't see it being more outstanding or taking me higher than just some good old bud. Went outside the other night at work after you got off and the moon was red. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a beautiful moon. I mean, last night just sitting on my couch looking out the window. That's a good energy there. That's a real good energy, and you could feel it. Even like my meditations yesterday, my meditations today, I can see that what ancestors is coming in. Interesting thing earlier when I meditated. And one thing about meditating is sometimes if you're vibing high enough, and then you have the full moon energy, something happens soon as you get into it, something happens. And it was like I saw this body with like a skeleton head, and it was like as soon as I closed my eyes, it came in. I was like, okay, greetings, greetings. Got to call my brother, send that to him, see which ancestor it was. But it was just chilling, nothing to fear, nothing boo like that. But definitely from the skeleton world, from the skull world for sure. Kind of a hello from my skulls. So that came in today. So all the meditations was smooth today. Felt good, but just wanted to. Hey, Amber, what's happening? Thank you for joining. Just wanted to, bring in these energies. I've already played the I just figured every day I would give the energy it's clearing of the singing bowl. So now I just incorporate it every day. So now I just my candles burning. I burned some sage. Got some sage burning. Have to be careful with sage because it can catch your place on fire. So I'm not going crazy with it. But this stuff makes everything smell so good. And this is almost like Lysol. When you burn sage, it almost has the same effect as Lysol. Antibacteria agent. So you wouldn't think something like this would give that to you. Hell, it costs damn near. One of these sticks cost about much as a bottle of Lysol, so more natural. Well, there we go. So just trying to clear, kind of take a sage bath. The funny dude, he made a outstanding video. The white guy, Charleston maybe, and he, didn't get a lot of views at the time, but he was talking about, sun gazing and sunbathing. That's a real thing, and that's one thing that we should all gather. I mean, I sun gaze almost every night when I can. They say sage burning crazy during the protest. They were sage burning crazy during the protest. Oh, trap house. Okay. That's a good thing. Oh, I didn't set up everything. No, I didn't. That's the most important one. Kind of put this together. I was listening to Brother Bomber, and I knew he'd come on the full moon. I knew he was doing the time, and he had put his ad out that it was coming. So. Oh, the Seattle Kraken. I was watching the money games, which was great that it's expanded. It's really great. There are more opportunities for brothers. And then found out a hooper in Kalamazoo, Michigan had passed. So I got to find out what he passed from. He was playing pro ball overseas. And it's funny, like what his mother's, she again, single parent, one child only. And he's playing pro ball overseas the last 4 or 5 years. And then I see that he had passed. I saw somebody make a comment, didn't quite know. And then today I'm like, oh, wow. But they showed a scene of her dancing at the club. And what was interesting, if you look at dance and grief, it's a great thing to kind of push the grief off you. But watching her video, I could just see that it's like I would say when people, my grandparents were Pentecostal. So I had the ability to see when the energy was actually coming into people and the people that faked it. And just watching her, I saw that energy come into her and kind of try to cleanse her a little bit to get over that sorrow. Because a lot of people never get over sorrow, be it whoever in your family that passed. But in that moment, it helped get some of that sorrow off her. And I just saw that watching the video. Oh, Kundalini. Okay, I'll give it out. Hey, Trigger Strong, what's happening? So it was interesting and kind of following up on the story. I don't know what happened to this young man. This young man couldn't have been in Michigan very long, so I don't know what happened to him and where. So when I find out, I got to make some calls and find out what happened to him. Because it was nice seeing that he got to play pro ball in Europe. It was cool. That he had those skills. But like magic is and spiritualness. is a lot of the kind of the same thing. Magic is a practice. Spiritualness is just expanding your awareness. That's what spiritualness is. You're expanding your awareness. I mean, that's all we really have is awareness, being just aware of our environment. As we was talking about yesterday, things don't really exist until you look at it, until you're watching it. That's at the quantum level. And like Crazy Sarge gave me some advice, and it's like I really don't even want to go into the quantum level and have to mess with somebody at that level. Because that's when I build, when I go fully into my awareness, that's why I start. Like when I ask this stuff to activate, I want it to activate first at that level, from the building block. So when it builds up to the energy builds up into work with me, I want all of it. Do you think baseball has magnets? Of course they do. No, baseball doesn't really need it. There is some kind of control of the ball, though. I'll say that, but baseball doesn't need it. It's the easiest thing, like batting practice. When they want a home run, they throw a batting practice pitch every time. Batting practice pitch. We know that these dudes, you put it over the plate a certain way, they can blast it. So they don't really need it like that. They don't need the magnets in baseball. They have changed the Indians' name to a neat team called Cracklings. No, they changed it to the Guardians. A crackling. Yeah, the Guardians, the crackling. They were just showing the crackling. Okay, you getting it mixed up, Lorenzo. The Seattle team is going to be the Cracklings. The Cleveland Indians is changing their names to the Guardians, to the Cleveland Guardians. Yeah, they share signs. Exactly. They tip pitches. Exactly. I had on my old channel, I had a pitcher that admitted, he was like, well, maybe I was tipping my pitches. Duh. So you know what's coming. The catcher, like what's interesting, I'm watching a game, and the catcher, like if the ball's not a strike and the catcher brings it back, and I'm looking at this pro umpire going for it. The ball is outside and the catcher brings it back, and he's calling strikes. I'm like, no, you cheating. But that's point shaving. So it's full body vibrational, normal during meditation. There you go, Meech. It is. Hey, Al Jannard, what's happening? Thank you for joining. So Crackling's an interesting name. Well, it's it's the Kraken. Yeah, it's the Kraken. They call it the Kraken. The Kraken was Perseus that had the flying horse. Perseus cut off Medusa's head, which sounds like a melanated person, and then they showed it to the Kraken. The Kraken was the only Titan they didn't kill. Poseidon put the Kraken in jail, and if it was shit, he released it. That was the biggest force to come out of the ocean was the Kraken. So yeah, that's why they named that team Seattle. And I'm looking at it. That ain't fresh. You really want a neat design. It looked like just an S so far. So we'll see. We'll see if they change it or not. So normally I don't have the TV on. I was watching that hoop game. So the TV's on. So that's where the name comes from. The Perseus got a couple different versions where Perseus fights the Kraken. The way my little boy used to destroy my books when he was 2, we called him the Kraken because he would take books and just rip them in part. I had a book for about 20 years and he just, so I had to turn my bookshelf around to keep him off of it. I'll look more into that. Okay. But yeah, that's where the Kraken comes from. It comes from that. It's one of the Titans. The Kraken was the only Titan allowed to live, not be conquered. Is they let that one live. Sometimes I feel like I am a clone. Really can't answer that other than I want to think about that before I answer. Okay. So it's almost like the movie and not really deja vu. It's like even before deja vu, you just had this feeling. So I understand that. Like it's almost like you get that feeling like it's more of you that know this knowledge and you can feel their presence sometimes. So I can get that. I can get that, Tiger Strong. But I would just go into yourself and find out. Really go into yourself and find out if you are the clone version, and you would want to get in touch with the real version, the real you, to see if you are the real you and they are the clones, and they're sending you signals to make you doubt yourself that you're the original. I was watching it too. Aaron Kraft, that used to play for the ASU, was playing that dude is a doctor now. It was a dude who, I guess he made the Olympic trials here in Minneapolis. He's a dude slightly younger than me. He's about 55. So in the 90, I think he went to China too. So what was that, 90? No, it was before. So the 96 Olympics and the one before that, he went for both of them. But winning the Olympic trial in marathon, he puked. And so that's what the cat's known as. But now he's a doctor too. And he was saying that he's all in. He's all in. Mayo Clinic trained. So he's all in with this stuff. So that was interesting watching him. So yeah, that's not surprising how they do it. Sometimes I put too much in there. But I'm just, vibing tonight. I'm just vibing on tonight on the free energy that's given, the free vibration that's given. They look at the moon as a feminine kind of energy. And so we just all basking in it. If you are unemployed and looking to get a good job, good luck, especially if you're not vaccinated. In order to get you a job, you need to be vaccinated. It ain't really like that everywhere. Here, if you live in Minneapolis, you're getting 15. So most places are starting at 17, 18 around here. So most places are so bad where people across the street, if you got businesses across the street, they're making deals to keep it at 18, 19. They tried to hype up all last year. He played. There you go. PJ. And that's how they do. They give the hype. But Al Jannard, yeah, that's some places, but not all. Matter of fact, I don't think in this state they can do that yet. But that's what they want to do. And it's funny, if you don't, you got to be outcast. You got to wear the wigs. You got to wear the mask. Outcast. Outcast. Yeah, that's what an outcast is. That is what they're trying to do. They're trying to shame you into it. And it's like, what is it that they feel everybody needs to have it? Really, that's making everybody protected, and they're telling you that only ones that go with it and have it, they're the only ones that are safe. when most of the educated people and the researchers telling them to use the dumbest motherfuckers on earth, which is kind of overboard. Again, it can only do what you allow it to do. So if you take it without fear, then they can't do nothing. So if you had to do it for whatever your reasons, I ain't here to shame you. I've been eating peanuts, so nuts get stuck in your teeth. Looks gross. They pushing towards it. Yeah, they're definitely pushing towards it, but it ain't really there now. So, and again, they're forcing the army to do it. Everybody's got to be done by September. Makes you wonder what in the army? Why didn't the army want to go with it? The army people didn't. Something they know, they ain't just run to go get it done. And then they did a thing where they was making people explain why they didn't do it. They was trying to make the people that got convinced for the camera why they agreed to it. So exactly, if you get it, don't mean you can't catch it, because that's what they're showing, is that people are getting it and still getting sick. So it's hard thing to say. Who was that? I was listening to somebody today, family member. They was trying to, maybe it was Zach, was talking about a family member, and the family member ended up getting Bell's palsy, which we was seeing in early people, what early people was getting. And then they telling young people the heart issues. So that's tough. That's tough if you've had, you never had heart issues, and because you put this in your body and you young, all of a sudden you have heart issues. And like with my side of the family, there's already a problem with LDL just because of, I'm sure, the Russell side of the family. My great grandmother was a Russell, and that's what she passed of in her 80s. She was only 83, but that's hereditary. Low LDL is hereditary. And then on top of this, you take a chemical on top of this. It's just something to consider. So how effective is it if numbers are spiking? So many effects from it too. Yeah. And so many people supposedly are protected. Not really working. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Guess it was working. They're going to try and shame us who don't get it. Oh, indeed. Indeed. They want to make you outcast. So how effective? Yeah. So definitely the one they do. So we ain't. Hold out too long as you can. And I don't care what they say. The medicine I take, they're talking about don't take the medicine. That ain't happening. They give me the medicine that I'm supposed to take. I'm not wandering off that. And I'm only a year from taking the shingles thing. So we don't know how to even react to that. Because I know since I take that shingle shit, that shit has me like some of my nerves, like here, sometime back in here. I can tell that's nerve stuff. And that I've had that effect since taking that. I had to take my son to get the tetanus shot for school. I was skeptical they might slip in. Oh, yeah. Oh, let me tell you how messed up it is. Now a minor does not have to get permission to get an abortion. A minor doesn't have to tell you. So if you got a 14-year-old that wants an abortion and she talked to her counselor at school and her teachers, they can go behind your back and do it. And right now they're pushing that they can get this thing. They can go to like Big Mike. Big Mike got it at school. And I don't think he had turned 18 yet. Maybe. I'm not sure if he was 18 or not. I had to talk to him, but this is at school. So this ain't got nothing to do with parents. They asking people at school. And the laws is now where if a minor doesn't need to tell you if they want to take it. If a minor is convinced to take it, they can take it without telling you. So, yeah. It was like that, that what do they call it? Where they can never get herpes or some shit. That thing that they tried to pass around 11, 12. Every time I take one of the children in, they're asking for this shit. And, your doctors do get kicked down a little bit more. And we saw the numbers to this thing. Tripeca, more people than, this isn't about saving lives. More people die from abortions than the bug. This isn't about, no, it's not about saving lives. I mean, it's funny. I saw a number that said they went to Europeans wiping out 60 million. No. Since abortion's been legal, melanated people, 60 million, which is almost 4 generations. 4 generations of melanated people. Now, that is why the Mexican community is going to be bigger than the melanated community because of all those abortions. It wouldn't, again, 60 million people injected into the society of the indigenous American people. And these 60 million would have kept spreading, would have almost been double when we talk about 100 million more people. So who do you think they're going after? And I've told my same story. The one clinic on the main street where all the conservatives is picketing, yeah, but not the one across the school. Ain't nobody picketing over there, and it's quiet over there. And the only way you know what it is a small sign that says Planned Parenthood. And you wouldn't even know what this building is. Never a lot of cars over there. Never a lot of people. And if it wasn't for my children playing in the playground over there, I would never even know what it was. Because if you look at the front of the building from the street, instead of turning in the street, just passing it, it don't say nothing. It's just a regular blah kind of color. It's that gray where ignore it gray. It's that color where it doesn't catch your eye, so you ignore it. There's nothing catchy about it. It's meant to deceive. It's meant to be invisible. So So yeah, it's not about saving lives. It's never been. It's been about, population control. They don't call it that, but that's what it's all. That's the population attack. That's a population attack. And it's affected Europeans too, poor Europeans, because they want to keep those numbers up of their fighters. That is their main fighting force. Poor Europeans is the main American fighting force. That's who they're counting on to fight their wars. They don't want upward mobility in those people. They want to keep those people down so they have nothing to do but join the service. You don't see educated people joining the service. And if they do join, they join to be officers. They don't join to be grunts. They go through ROTC to be officers. That's what educated people do. Poor people just join. Now, my brother, I think, made it to the top sergeant in the 4 or 5 years he was in. And I told him, I'm like, look, do what your cousins are doing. Join ROTC, go to college, come out an officer. His 2 cousins, one was flying Phantoms, F-16s. The other one was a navigator on a B-52. And they went to college for free. They was poor as children. They went to college for free. All the ROTC, all that's paid for by the state. But they came out officers, is my point. They came out officers. And so they made more money. Only poor people just join. Private. You're private. You go in and you work your way up from being a private compared to working your way up being a first lieutenant. And the only difference is you went to school. You can't debate me on that. That's the only difference. You have 2 people that join. One people joins in college and goes through all the ROTC. And he gets his degree. He goes in a first sergeant. You got a person, or first lieutenant. You got a person in them same 4 years to join, and he's some type of sergeant. He's an NCO. He's not, I don't even know if, in 4 years, can you make it up to an NCO? You see the difference? You got a person struggling and a person that had a pretty leisurely life. Of course, they have to do the weekend training and whatnot, but basically they have a good college life compared to that person that's a grunt. So that's what educated people do. You join ROTC to come out being an officer. But poor people just join. And that can't be debated. Poor people. As I've said many times before, I look at my Facebook feed on Veterans Day. Poor people, poor people, poor people, poor people, poor people. And I've talked about this before. And this is a fact. Georgia Guidestone say they want 500 million. 300 been jabbed, 3 million more to go. There you go, 3 billion. You help with my depression so much. I just want to say my world is better knowing you're here. Well, thank you, Jody Husky, because again, there are places for depression. The infinite ball field is definitely for depression. It's for grief and depression because there's energies, even a playground. Playground will do the same thing. The energies are always there, but they're healing energies. And that's what people don't understand. Those are ways that you can heal yourself just by sitting there and then connected to that energy that's moving. And it's the cleansing energy. It's like even when the playground is silent, if one child played on it, that one child's energy is all around. It never leaves. And the same thing as the infinite ball fields. Once the ball field has a game on it, the game continues. That is how the Americans set it up. That is part of our spiritual systems. So, but I thank you. That's a nice thing to say, Jody Husky. What are they trying to do when they use sigil magic in music videos and performances at award shows? Where's Crazy Sarge at? Crazy Sarge and my brother deal with sigils more, and I probably should because they've been coming in lately. They've really been coming in. But what they're doing is trying to seal. Like what you see a lot of times is you see locks and you see seals. And so they're trying to bring you over to them. They're trying to convince you. So they put all these seals up in there and they try to bring you into it. So they're trying to drag you in, but they're trying to drag you in sneaky without you knowing. because music is one of the few things that helps you trance. And so through music, they're hoping that you trance. And so they're trying to bring you into all that. It's almost a little bit of energy vampire, really, on the unknowing. They're asking you to push more energy to it. So the unknowing, that's what all that is for, too, is the unknowing. So favoritism plays a big part. Yeah, but Crazy Sachi was asking, what are they trying to do when they use magical sigil magic in music videos and performances at award shows? I'd like to hear your take on that as well. I know people who served a full 8 years never made tech sergeant in the Army. Yeah, Trap. And then you can't really, a lot of times it doesn't translate to public service. As I said before, they did the MPs so bogus. You had to start all over again. You had all this military training around the world, and then you go to try to go to a police force when you get off, and they tell you got to start from A and go all the way through it again. That's wrong. Maybe it's changed now, but when I went in, it didn't change. Favoritism plays a big part. Yeah. I feel the same way as Jody in adding those sugar and hematite bracelets. Less bullshit's been coming my way. Oh, okay. That's very kind of you to say. They're forcing to get that shot in order to work. Wow, Al. Yeah, there've been some music that did put a spell on me. Of course. It's a lot of low vibration music that's catchy, you know. Whenever I what does he say? Whenever I see a bad bitch, I say, hey, baby. Hey, baby. I mean, it's just some brain damage shit that just keeps repeating. And that's the spell. That's why you should choose your own spell. You know, counterspell that. So it's energy still in the higher areas of activity like sports field or playground, even if it's not being occupied or being used. Yeah, it's energy on them all the time. All the time. Like I was saying, you know, even in my high school 40 years ago, me being the first player to play above the rim and poking it in the city, and that's where I practice. Doug Anderson plays for the Trotters, is one of the best dunkers in the country. That energy of me that I started still translated through the dudes who played in that gym after me. I mean, the little dudes that watch me play. That energy is still locked in there. And so that's something that I gave to that area. But yeah, it's always there. It's nothing that they can take away. They can't take that away. And that's why I say it's an infinite ball field, because the energies are infinite. And we don't look at those areas. See, the NFL gets it. The NFL replaced religion on Sunday because the NFL understands that sports are religion. It ain't just for fun. Sports is a type of religion. And that's what, going back to, if you look at the big heads of the Olmec, these are religious people you're seeing. These are the Yannis that have mastered the ball game and have mastered the spirituality of being a Yanni. That is why they're wearing those helmets. These are spiritual helmets of a ball player. This is what these big heads show. That's why they emulate each other. All the heads. There's only a few little heads that you find without the helmets on. These weren't the people in charge. These weren't, for a better word, I'm just going to say chief. That's what each one of these heads demonstrates. The highest spiritual person of that era when those heads was made. That's why they get immortalized. And I'm the only one that says this. And those peoples that live in those areas know this too. But they don't put it out like that. Even this guy, he don't really say it like that. He don't give it that. But I've been at this long enough. I studied this long enough that I see what it is. So yeah, definitely the one. They locked the ability to be able to use the music to release you from bonds. So you have to find another song you can lock them out of their own sigils. That's a good point. That is a good point. So what he's saying is you can do the counter music. You can do the counter music. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people don't understand it, but like even if you look at gematria and you look at the Beethoven's music and then you start breaking down classical music, because, you know, Beethoven was a melanated brother, they show you. And so this music is played in a healing pitch. It's a healing type of pitch. That's why they suggest that pregnant women listen to classical music, because it's such a healing kind of pitch. Now, you have to study who produced this, of course, but just taking Beethoven for an example, the rhythm, the sound that's put out there is a healing. Matter of fact, it's like you listen to classical music, it's almost like it'll make you smarter. So that's crazy, because when I walk into my old high school track, you can feel energy, or a basketball court when it's not being played. I'm glad you mentioned that. I thought I was tripping. No. Should counter music be 432 megahertz? What is the method, the perfect fifth? I ain't got the book right here, but the perfect fifth. What megahertz is the perfect fifth? Yeah. Like, so two notes that have a frequency ratio of 3.2 are said to be separated by the interval of a perfect fifth, or just a fifth. For example, a 450 hertz note is a perfect fifth above a 300 note. So, yeah. So in music theory, the perfect fifth is a musical interval corresponding to a pair of pitches with a frequency rate of a 3/2 or very nearly so. So the interval is 3/2, interval of 5, semitones of 7, innotation of 701.9555. So yeah. So P5 is what it's called, and that's the, there we go. That's how you would read it in music. So yeah, it is. So you've got the C and G. For the example, the interval from C to G is the perfect fifth, as the note G lies 7 semitones above C. The perfect fifth may be derived from the harmonic series, the interval between the second and third harmonics. So yeah, it could be that. Could be that tone. I know that Jimi Hendrix, he changed tones. That's probably part of the reasons why they ended up killing him when they did. So I'm so stoked again because I got to drum again last night. Oh, that is so smooth, Crazy Sarge. Should counter music. So yeah, it could be 432 hertz could be Rocky. I'm sorry I didn't answer your question, but that's cool, Crazy Sarge. They own my Pandora playlist. Facts, man, they be on a different type of vibration. Oh, the elements is the truth. There you go. But that's like music can balance you. You can get music to balance you. You can get music to hype you. Like I think Sly talks about when he lifts weights, he has certain songs that he wants to lift weights in. When I shoot baskets, the same kind of way. It's certain music I want to hear, and so it can do all kind of things. You can have music to draw you to sleep. What is the sleep song? Go to sleep, my sweet baby. Go to sleep. I mean, you see the type of tone, just like you ain't yelling to him, take your ass to sleep. Get your ass in that bed and go to goddamn sleep. What did I tell you? Take your ass to sleep. Instead of go to sleep, my little baby. See how it's changed? Now I know y'all, I ain't the only one that dated hood rats and saw that. Children excited because it's a new person in the house and they trying to sneak out and look, and the hood rat mama is yelling at them, take your ass to sleep. So you see how magic can be applied in every situation. Most people, the dude just wanted to smash the mama, so he wanted them to sleep too. Children is just excited because a new person in the house. The mama's trying to get some mama time. I'm sitting here thinking of a way to sample a par of that beat that has never been done before. One of the greatest songs ever. Oh, that's tight, PJ. They should make a sequel to The Fifth Element called The Perfect Fifth. I just didn't like the Chris Rock character, because that was not Chris Rock, Chris Tucker. That was his emasculating position. With Bobby. That's the shit didn't work with my baby boy. He's 19 now. He was the comical baby. It's like my two oldest. They tried to climb out the crib one time, and that fall was it. But my 23-year-old, that was never it. That was the way he came out. We'd be sitting downstairs and we hear boom, and we knew a few minutes later, here he comes. He climbed down the stairs. Here he comes, and we'd hear him boom. So the boom to him mean freedom. Didn't matter which way he landed, it meant freedom. And he landed on his head a couple times because I watched how he got out, like bam, and it didn't matter. It's like, I'm up out of here. Whereas my two youngest, because they're 15 months apart, I mean, some nights we would come in the room and the 1.5-year-old is sleeping with the brand new baby, hugging him. And so it used to be kind of cool. You just sit there and hold him. But he taught that baby how to climb out because that baby's watching. You know, we had cribs like this at one time. They both in cribs. And he learned. So he was the youngest to learn how to climb out. They learned how to climb out early. Man, PJ, you talking about the instruments. Those brothers they can go down in my book as one of the best, not a bad album catalog with the elements. There you go. Earth, Wind, and Fire song, Fantasy was a song we spoke on. Okay. Hey, Jody, glad to see you. I was just talking about the Fifth Element half hour ago. Wow. Who's the Elements? I'll YouTube it. Can't find it. One thing needs to do is know the walls and barriers you put up can be perverted against you. So make sure you remove and rebuild them as you go through life. That's a good point. Well, what he's saying is, like, when you go to put your protection up, it's an ever evolving kind of thing because it can be used against you. Is what he's saying is it gets stale, and the stale energies can be used against you. So he's saying keep them fresh and keep reinventing them. So as they serve your purpose, you make them stronger and stronger because your intention becomes better. You become stronger. You become stronger with your intentions. So as you learn more, update that stuff. That's why I had to send that thing to the witch, because she loves one color. And yeah, it against the ethers, it protects, but it doesn't protect against the czar. Because the witches don't use that stuff, and it comes through that stuff. So yeah. So that's good advice, Crazy Sarge. Yeah. That is good advice. That is good advice. And that's the thing about magic; it always evolves. Did you see Texas and Oklahoma going to SEC? Yeah, it's a money move. Texas ain't been that good the last few years. Oklahoma is in and out of the top 4. What's the name of the czar book? This one, Wombs and Alien Spirits. You have to use your discernment. Did you see what for the sports heads? Did you see what Debo Sweeney said? He didn't think it was 12 teams good enough. Isn't that trying to keep the money in? Because Clemson won their first championship in 82, 83, but Clemson ain't really been up there except the last few years. They're one of the club. And they want to see, this is what scares them. If Boise State was ever to win, people would stop going to these top schools. That's what scares them about the entertainers wanting their children to go to these HBCU schools. That scares them because they don't want to see a small school because they want to get the blessed brothers. That's what scares them about paying too, because a lot of people can pay different people who are in different circumstances. And so we throw this loot at you, you come to us. And there's schools that can throw that loot at them too. So they scared of that because they want to think that only those schools can throw loot at people and convince them to come there. What is it? Marcus Dupree said they bought his mama a trailer. You know how much a trailer cost in 1980? Probably $3-4 grand at most. So bought his mama $3-4 grand instead of buying her house. What do you think they thought about that? They saw how poor they were, and they knew that that would work. Not buying them a house. House can last 50, 60 years. How long a trailer really going to last? What is the 1980 trailer looking like today compared to if they would have bought his mama a house? Reggie Bush family was bought a house. Okay? They bought his mama a house in California, I think it was, or Florida, one or the other. California, Florida. I can't quite remember. Watches don't normally get along with me. Witches don't normally get along with me. I just, I left her alone, and then I'm thinking, okay, these bugs coming from somewhere, and I'm seeing what they're doing to the little autistic boy, So your aim was wrong, and they're attacking him. So really, they ain't really bothering me, but they bothering him. And I know you put that shit around, so you attacking an autistic boy because your aim is fucked up. Because you had to double. You tried to bounce your magic off some shit, and your shit bounced onto them, which shows me you ain't as strong. I mean, the bugs show me you ain't that strong. Hell, the way I handled your people showed me you wasn't that strong. The way I broke away from marrying your ass showed me that you ain't that strong. So stop. I don't talk bad about you. Fucking stop. Could you please explain thought projecting to other people? Can the person receive it like telepathy? Well, again, the time we use it the most is driving. We throw that at them the most with driving. That is when it should be the most active. Now, if you're just talking sitting with somebody, that's something you can practice with people. Let's call it telepathy. But I bring up driving because that's when it's used the most often. We throw our thoughts to each other the most often when we drive. You're like a person in front of you. Fucking go. Drive faster. I'm going to go by you. Fucking pass already. You had a four-way. Go. I mean, this is when we use it. And so what I'm saying is we can use it all the time. We just don't have to use it driving. So it takes practice. It takes practice. And then practice with people. Like if a person don't speak to you in your mind, say hello to them anyway. And most people you can still get a smile because they see that friendly. They see that friendly there. So it takes practice though, Trap. Practice that with people. Practice telepathy with them. I mean, a simple thing you can do with your children is what color crayon? And they start visualizing, where do I see the energy the most? Give them the color. That's one of the easiest practice with children because they can pick up on the colors. But it takes practice. Definitely takes practice. My 73 Taylor still looks decent. Okay. I understand. You got to keep them up too. Because we had a girl written and she trashed it. She surely trashed it. And it was bad. It was sad because it was a nice trailer. And this chick got on crystal meth. She fucked up the shower. She fucked up the bathroom. She fucked up the sink. I mean, I still don't know how she fucked all that up, but she fucked it up. She really fucked it up. And it was a nice trailer before we let her move into it. Yeah, I'm earlier tonight. Key, I'm a little earlier. No, I'm not saying all of them, Crazy Sarge. I'm not saying all of them. But they showed his, and it was like they sold themselves short. Because they looked at him and they knew how easily they could buy him off. That's the point. They looked at him and knew how easy they could buy him off. So they bought him a car and they bought her a trailer. Instead of buying him a car and her house, they could last forever. That's all I'm saying. My ex-wife tried some voodoo shit on me. I told her, bitch, find something to do. Hey, Nicole B, thank you for joining. That's funny. That's funny, PJ. Because I remember the first really spells I had on me was the brothers from the Virgin Islands. We did the hazing thing, and he was upset because he got hazed. And he put a spell on three of us, and, unknowingly I walked over it because he put it at our doors. And all of us got hurt. All of us got hurt that he put the spell on. Didn't put us out, but we did end up getting hurt. And then we had to beat his ass. And so we made him, I kind of knew how to undo it, but, didn't think about it at the time. And so I had to take it, and then I burned them in front of each of our doors and shit. So yeah, because it hadn't moved. When I crossed it the first time, it hadn't moved. So the next time I crossed, I was like, okay, I'm gonna burn this fucker. And then I did it for the other guys. But he put one dude, let me see, did Wayman? I got hurt Wednesday before the first Saturday game. Wayman got hurt. So yeah, and something happened to Squirrel. So yeah, he hurt 3 of us. He took it out on us. It's just fucking hazing. What'd you expect? Hell, they tell you that the hazing is coming. When you play football, you get hazed as well. So that definitely is a thing. So, but yeah, you shouldn't practice negative stuff if they leave you alone. You should leave it, or you should have control over your spells. That's the other thing, is have control over your spells. You don't want a spell just bouncing around everybody, because you ain't meaning to hurt these people. I mean, that autistic boy got to have big whelps up and down his legs where, you know, it's so bloody and bit up. Come on. I know you didn't mean that. And this ain't no cap. You know, I got to sadly look at him, and I know that shit comes from you. So if that's who you are, that, you know, your spells just bounce all around, and now you attacking a boy that can't even defend himself. He can't even tell the world that there's something fucked up. His parents just threw his bed away. So that's who you attacking, him. He ain't got nothing to do with me. It's your fucked up magic. So your flunkies that watch this shit, take heed. You tell your queen, or whatever the fuck y'all call her, she needs to heal him first of all, and take these bugs away that you created with your fucked up weak ass magic. So now this is just being nice, because you can't get all that color out your house. As long as you keep that color out in your house, I can come through. So you take that how you want to take that, because you ain't taking that color out your house, honey, because it's everywhere. That is who you are. Shouldn't have did that sloppy commercial with the money, honey. You showed where you live. You know, these people pay attention to that shit. So when you make these goddamn spells, you got to remember you did that. So how does one tell their weak magic shit? How does one know when a spell was put on them? That's a good one. And it's funny. Most of the people, and I'll say this, most of the people, when you have spells put on you, the person that put the spell on you is so weak that you wouldn't even know it. So most of the time you wouldn't even feel that the spell is so weak. Like, there was a friend of mine on Facebook that was pretending to be fucking Drake, and this chick believed it. She believed that it was tantra sex between her and Drake, so she's sending these goofies money. And I looked into it, and I'm like, honey, this ain't strong magic. She's like, but my breasts, and so my breasts lactated while we were doing tantra. I'm like, that don't mean nothing, honey. That has nothing to do with that being Drake. And everybody, I tried to explain to her. And then she come crying to me, well, I can't afford to keep sending him. I'm like, it's not him. And then the stripper comes up with the baby, and she's got an excuse. So some spells ain't strong. They ain't strong enough for you to notice. Now, if it is strong enough for you to notice, then of course you can pay attention and see how has magic affected you. And then you just sit down and look how it affected you. And then there are ways you could even look up for yourself to counter things. So it's not, a lot of times, most of the people that cast spells, it's not that sophisticated. Because most people, the way magic is you perform magic against other magical people. A lot of times you just don't openly, like the jilted witch throwing some shit on her boyfriend. Well, that ain't really allowed, because relationships come and go. So that jilted witch would know better. She would know better. And so the people around her that, what is the word I want to look for? Monitor, would see that she using the magic in a fucked up way. And then the monitors would do the counter spells. It's the thing about recognized witches. They've got monitors. Remember on Bewitched? I know Bewitched is a lot older for y'all, but Bewitched kind of used to show that kind of thing. When she would try to do a love spell or her evil cousin would try to do a love spell. It was like Mugs coming in like, hey, who put the love spell? This person's under a love spell. Who did it? They'd show up like wondering who put this love spell on him. You know that's not allowed. And then Samantha would be like, it wasn't me. And then they would know Sabrina was around. So find out how you being bothered. That's the first thing. And then seeing if just the littlest things you can look up to counter, if they work. A lot of times they should work. Because most people just ain't attacked with giant stuff. Since leaving her, my mind is free and more doors still opening. Oh, that's good, PJ. Some kind of energy probably holding you in. So, yeah, that's a good thing to break away. Definitely a great thing to break away from. So, there ain't just people recklessly using magic like movies would show you. There's kind of a monitoring system. I guess that's the best way to put it. I don't know how to put it any other way. Where some people like movies show you motherfuckers is doing too much or using magic. What is it that is it the magicians is somewhere? Oh, like Thanos and that shit where they could show where they use the stones and shit. Like, where the stones, he had all the stones and they could tell where he used it. So that's how they found it, because they could tell the shit was used. Well, yeah, the hard magic like that leaves a trace. That's what they're trying to tell you. That shit leaves a trace. And so that much power used, Mugs can come to it and see what. I mean, it's I always get probed in seeing what I know and what I don't know. That's just part of it. Can't be fearful of that. So but that's good, PJ, that you got to free your mind. It's like, I understand that the person when I lived in Michigan, when they tried to kill me, I understood that person, they physically did kill that person. That person did have to physically be killed through all that for me to be who I am today. And I was turning into what I am now. It was coming. And that's part of the reason why they attacked me. And it was just for buying, really, I was at this level. I was just studying this stuff. And they tried to kill me. I wasn't past this. But I imagine, they knew that more was going to come from it. They knew my family was and the abilities my family has and how all this has been passed. My wife is now the bomb. She watching, ain't she, PJ? Is your wife watching, PJ? Come on, don't cap. She watching. But no, that's nice to say. I'm glad that she is. That's a good way to say it. That's a joy. If you feel that your wife is the most beautiful thing in the bomb, as you put it, that's a good feeling, brother. I'm just joking with you. That's good that you feel that way. And for her, I hope she feels the same way about you, which she probably does. So that's a positive thing. I'm just joking. That's all. Just joking. Just joshing. Oh, it's 11 o'clock. Wow. Okay. So the liquor stores are closed now. That's what I miss about Michigan. She just left the room. I was just playing, though. But that's a good thing. And that's how everybody should feel. Like Richard Pryor would say, Mugs being in bad relationship be like, don't even want to introduce their woman. That's my lady. Yeah, that's her. That's our Richard Pryor. That shit's funny. Yeah, that's her. You don't even want to introduce her. Be like, this chick is with me, and yeah, that's her. You don't even want to introduce her and shit. Now we just have fun. That's all. But love is a beautiful thing. Love is supreme, and to share love with somebody, to sleep with somebody, and have that love, that just makes you both stronger. That's the thing, is like why we hug people, in our society or our culture. Why we hug people is because that connection can come in, and it's like What's funny is how they diluted it was like our brothers would hug everybody, and of course Europeans see us doing that, where we hug, brothers. And then of course they, the Europeans seeing us do that, then they do it with us, because they're not understanding what we're doing is we're connecting this, because energies connect. Like they try to tell you that the reason why you put out your hand, because the melanated people would shake like this, the wrist, because we would shake where you touching the pulse, we would shake like that, or I guess it would look more like this. We grabbing your pulse. The European way is like this. And they're saying it's because I can walk by you and I can put my fist up and hit you. That's what the cat was saying in Europe. That's how they start shaking hands. It's like, I put my hand out in friendship. What is the land of 1,000 cities? Remember the Mason stuff in the very beginning? They make every different alien do the Mason shake one way or another, even if the alien didn't even have any hands or anything, they still did the Mason shake. So they wanted to show you that the Masons is going to go through space, and that them being Masons, that these other aliens is going to recognize them, like the Masons are special in that regard, that only the Masons can deal with aliens. AD still, have you seen the first Richard Pryor stand up live and smoking? Yeah, he talks about his gay experiences in that one. Timing isn't as sharp. Jokes aren't as clever. You can tell he didn't have writers, because he's in that the one club. It's so many places looked like that back in the 70s, but he's in that club that I can just picture how it looks. But yeah, there's a little bit of film on it, but the audio is all there. But he says, matter of fact, one of his things is he says that he was the only one in town would have sex with this transsexual. That is part of that original thing, if you are a Richard Pryor historian. But that's one of the jokes from that show. He says, I'm the only one in Peoria, there's this trans, and I was the only one fucking him. So Richard Pryor was already, but he was sexually abused as a little boy. He had a teenager forced him, beat him up until he sucked his dick as a little boy. So he was sexually abused as a child. And then he talks about this same man wanting an autograph from him. He's like, and the man was with a boy. Now you let a little boy do this, and now you with a little boy, you say your grandson, and you had the nerve. But what happens is mugs forget that shit. You forget that when you was a teenager, you was a predator, and you preyed on this little 5-year-old. A lot of people forget their own fucking what's the word I'm looking for? Savagery. He forgot he had done it so much, and that was just him, where he forgot how savage he was with Richard as a child. And maybe he remembered, but more than likely he probably forgot. The ending was the best to me. I can't remember the ending. All of them Masons, supposedly. Yeah, in that movie, all of them was supposedly Masons. What did they really happen to Richard Pryor? I mean, so much. I mean, he had an addictive personality. He was a chain-smoking cigarette person. So when it came to, again, freebase, he wasn't a crack addict. He was addicted to freebase. And I know most people don't understand freebase and how much more addictive it was than crack. I know that doesn't seem possible, but it is. It is a far greater, like most people that smoke, even crack, talk about the first time they got high was the greatest feeling. And then even if you never get that feeling again, that's why they call it chasing Jason, because you're trying to chase the original feeling that got you high the first time. Well, freebase kind of hits those numbers, because crack it's not always great crack all the time. Freebase, if you get the real deal, it's always freebase. So you don't have where you're not going to get as much of the chemical. When you got freebase, you got the pure chemical every time. So it was a stronger addiction. Like I explained about Kalamazoo, Michigan, they wasn't even getting crack. Then people were smoking some shit that wasn't even crack. I don't even know what the fuck that shit is. I still ain't figured it out. But they was acting like it. Which shows it was all mental to begin with. They smoking some shit that I know 100% was not crack. Didn't have any cocaine in it. I don't know what was in this shit. And these people were addicted to that shit. So at that Paul Mooney roast, he said Paul Mooney was there. Yeah, he says Paul Mooney is on his knees and sucking the executive off, which is very believable. And Rich puts it out there because Rich was like that too. I mean, that's why when they was talking about Rich with Quincy Adams, we know Quincy Adams liked being bent over. So apparently Marlon Brando went both ways. He would take it or give it. That's why Rita Moreno was talking about what a good lover Marlon Brando was. And I'm like, oh, okay, you was in that club. And she called him a great lover. And I'm like, wow. Yeah, she wasn't a joke. So I'm reading that about like, oh, you bragging about him. So all that happened to him. All that. To get into the thing. So Richard Pryor got addicted to that. And what it did is it took a lot of his genius away because he spent 2 or 3 years, he had the money. He was getting keys. He was getting keys made of freebase. He was getting the keys where the key was made into the freebase already. That's 33, what is that, 33 pounds of cocaine? That's why they tell you he had 3 heart attacks. He didn't just have one, he had 3. So if you catch him on the Johnny Carson where he has the cane, that was the only way they was getting him away from getting high. And so when they got him away, he was able to do better things. I mean, Richard was given 30 million at the time when 30 million was worth probably 300 million when he was given 30 million. He had the color purple, he had Purple Rain, and he turned them down. And the only thing he produced with that production company was, I think, the Here and Now concert. And the problem, he had to fire Jim Brown because Jim Brown said, I want black everybody. I want the grips to be black. I want the lighting people to be black. And, that's just not how you do business. You're still dealing with a union. And so he really didn't have good people around him. Jim Brown was playing the blackety black, where he had a chance to make some, his real imprint in Hollywood. And he ended up they kept him high. That's why if you see his autobiography, JoJo Dancer, when he's all drunk, cussing him out, and you got that lawyer there where he tells him to stand up, he had to sue his lawyer because the lawyer was stealing from him. But he was so high and drunk that, it was easy to steal from him. So they wanted him high. They didn't want him strong. They didn't want the strong Richard Pryor. And I still want to know how a person on fire climbs a 6-8 foot wall. His fence that went into his property. How? You're on fire and you can climb a wall? I don't know. You can climb a gate? I don't know about that part. There was definitely some freaky dudes, but that's Hollywood. That's Hollywood for you. That's Hollywood's main name is freaky. That's the one thing that Alistair put in there. And then he thought that he was going to be the god of all that, and they pushed him out. The Jewish faith people said, we just needed you to set it up, buddy. And once, because their way is to snuff people out. And you couldn't have all these snuffed out actors. I mean, Rudolph Valentino was a human sacrifice for talkies. He was the top silent movie person. And all of a sudden the talkies come in and he dies, the top person. But what they tell you is he didn't have a voice. His voice was very like Mike Tyson-ish. So that was a human sacrifice for Hollywood. So that was their way of doing things. They snuffing people out. So Crowley was like, hey, you ain't really got to snuff everybody out. We can do some of this other stuff. And he put in the sex magic into it instead of their way of snuffing people out. That's powerful there. I know there's people don't want to hear that shit, but human sacrifice is a real thing in America, in the world. And so we got to look at shit being murder. It ain't murder. It ain't police taking people out. No, it's all human sacrifice. That is where the gematria helps out. Because if you look at the time and place of even these people that ain't important, that don't make the local news, why they getting killed? This is America. This is the human sacrifice capital of the world. In a way, we Babylon. Because there's so much human sacrifice going around us, we don't even realize it. They got another name for human sacrifice. They call it murder. And they got us thinking that these are murders instead of the true nature of what it really is human sacrifice. Main murder, it's human sacrifice. Because we live in the lands of the people in charge. That's what they believe in. It's human sacrifice. That's what they practice. They ain't never stopped it. Good old America. Oh, Jody says agreed. Well, thank you, Jody. But that's what the country, that's what it's about. It's about that. The Floyd thing and all was about human sacrifice. And so we're not going to be fooled anymore. We're going to call it what it is. And we know who does it. It ain't the damn Jesuits. Show me where the Jesuits started out because of human sacrifice. They didn't. They was warriors. They was an army that still got beat by Napoleon. What is it, 1792, 1782? Napoleon beats the Roman Catholic Church, which makes you think of the old Roman Empire. Napoleon beats them. So, Zach, did they rebound from after losing to Napoleon? Did they rebound and they were able to rebound and be a great force again? Maybe I missed that part. Who determined when and when is someone sacrificed? That's a good question. All the celebs losing mother. Well, that's a good example, Denise. A celebrity wants to make it, like Kanye. They human sacrifice his mother, which does two things. It pushes his position up, but it gives them the blood. So they are involved in it. It satisfies their bloodlust, and it pushes the so-called celebrity ahead of time. And that's where I say Zach is spot on when their births, how old they are from their birthdays. All that goes into the human sacrifice. All of it goes into it. I mean, this is how deep it goes. They write these other books about other cultures, but they really be talking about themselves. And so in trying to talk about another culture, but really how they do it, they tell you how the person that's getting sacrificed, leading up to the sacrifice, they taken through town, everybody's cheering. You've seen those old movies where people are cheering for the person that's about to be sacrificed. They get bath, they get clothes. What do they do when a person's in jail? They give them the last meal. This person is a superstar up until it's time to sacrifice him. Y'all like that? Because we kind of see that thing today with some of these flash in the pans, one hit wonders, or one LP wonder. They get a couple LPs out of them. See, they want to talk about other cultures, but if you know who they are, you can look at these words. And my brother told me, he's like, look, I know it's some shit, but keep pushing through, and you'll find more. And he's right. I am finding them. And the way they do it. And they sitting here trying to say it's another culture that's doing it, but that is the way they do it. And if they prefer, and now they got their way. They have their way because there is like a cheering for the person. Like look at Kanye's mother. She got a little bit of notoriety because she is son, and then it was time for her to get that blood. Pulled her right off. So they put her out there, made her look a little better, get a little notoriety. Again, they brought her through town. Everybody's cheering. And then when it's time to get that blood, well, it was an accident, and she just didn't make it. So you say the who. So it's this group of people, them peoples. It's them peoples, the JFP peoples. They determine it. They've got a calendar of blood. Can you hand me my cigar right there?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You addicted?
Is your mama addictive?
That's quite ironic, huh? Is that not ironic?
Is what ironic?
You used to give me shit.
What?
Said you used to give me shit.
Okay.
Nicotine's worse than heroin. Now what's going on here? Now you don't need it.
Yeah, my throat's getting dry, so I do need it.
You don't need it.
I need it because my throat's getting dry. So, Anise,
It's too addictive
that
to
is
go
how
over
they
it.
determine
We're
it.
out here.
That is kind of how Dre left.
Yeah.
Okay, that is how they determine it. The geometry is right. That is how they determine how this goes. They have their festivals. No, it helps the throat, and I don't want to suck on this throat lozenges.
That's the game plan.
So that is kind of how they do it. They have festivals. They have these rituals like the full moon. Even it might call for them to have a blood ritual. So that is kind of how it's done. Okay, asshole. I'm gonna get you back. Oh, there's my pods. Must have took them out. Side of me thinks she knew the game. She knew as well. She was a well-known college professor.
You give me back when I lose my vape?
What? Get you back what?
Like you said, you're gonna give me back. Like you're gonna I'm gonna be like, oh, Dad, have you seen my vape?
Now you're gonna say, Dad, will you buy me some pods?
That's pretty good.
Kanye West's mommy died for his fame shit. In a way, yeah, Lorenzo, she did.
That's a huge sacrifice.
But it was also a sacrifice, and the sacrifice did not settle for his position. The sacrifice also, whatever was going on with them, whatever festival they had, was also blood for them. So I know a lot of people say, well, they were sacrificed for fame. It's more to it than that. It ain't just for the fame. I'm telling you, this culture, this is their thing. They have all these festivals that are continued, all the different seasons, not just the main holidays. Not just the main holidays. They have all these other festivals where they need blood. And they've been doing this since their recorded history. And so it hasn't stopped. That hasn't stopped. The JFPs. So it is for their fame, but it's much more. It satisfies two things, not just the one. So right now we just been seeing one thing satisfied. We're saying, okay, yeah, they're for fame, and no. It satisfies their blood ritual as well that they need because they got these bodies waiting. And that is how well it's been organized. I mean, a lot of people get sacrificed in America, more than we even realize. I mean, what do you think all these Sioux chicks from South Dakota is dying all of a sudden? Look at the numbers of the Sioux women that are being pulled out of South Carolina. Why do you think that is? Or excuse me, South Dakota. Look at the numbers of the amount of Sioux women that right now are being human sacrificed. And just like we saw with killing of the flower moon, a lot of these people get strung out on crystal meth. It's easy to kill people that are strung out like that. So for the last 2 years, it's been a big purge of women, Lakota women, mostly South Dakota. Yeah, you have 2 forks left. Yeah, you better, because it better not catch you messing with my plated silver forks. And forks is like $8 a piece. Love children of the corn sacrifice. Yeah, somewhat. Yep, because Queen Elizabeth is here. On Nas song, one mic, he says some about a cup of virgin blood mixed with 151. Interesting. Yeah, I'm trapped in here. I couldn't get mine. Well, I guess I could hop over them. It's just a cigar helps with the dryness. That's all. I want to say I've been listening to The Look of Love. I can't think of that's a new wave song, but it seems like it's one line in there that kind of talks about that a little bit. I gotta listen to the actual line, but I'm like, what was that? So that's kind of got me wondering what that was about. But that's what America is, and that's why we have all the missing people. That's why they want the flock of people in here, because it's probably the sacrifices have gotten so bad. They want all these invisible people. They want a steady flow of invisible people for human sacrifice. Because the more of these people that what do they call them? Undocumented. It's easier to kill them. It's easier to kill them with large numbers. It's like almost a vampire. Like think of Biden being a vampire, and now he's letting all of them come in. And so you got a group of people that can be vampired on and won't nobody miss them. And when the people get up missing, who they gonna tell? You ain't supposed to be here anyway. So it's almost like vampires tell you can't kill in your neighborhoods because you can't have, pretty soon they gonna figure out it's us. But now, with the liberals in there, with Biden in there, the vampires have, free will again. Free will to sacrifice. At least Trump seemed to slow it down by not letting the people come in here. Now they're saying just come in, drop them off across the fence. Anything you want to do, just drop them off. Now, Song, you the man. He said to drink semen. Ooh, that's not cool. Chinese call this moon the hungry ghost moon. They believe the spirits roam hungry this time of year. That's a good knowing to add. Thank you for adding that. Yeah, because we call it the cherry moon. This is where the cherries will be picked around this time of year. Strawberries in June, cherries this time of year. It's a couple other names, but the cherry moon is another name. But the moon has been very red. Probably the fires have a little bit to do with it too. So it's just a lot of different ways to look at what they're doing and why, instead of just calling it for fame. It's more than that. It's a whole industry. Human sacrifice in America is an industry. It is that deep and that thick. It is an industry of human sacrifice that ain't never went away. And by letting these undocumented people in, they've got countless numbers now. Now, I'm not saying the numbers wasn't countless when Uncle Imbecile was in. I'm not saying that, but they weren't letting them in. As you saw how they was at the fence, and they showed some Africans trying to come in through Mexico too, which was interesting. But you see how they're doing it. This seems like a freer range now. So it's like the vampires. You let all these, you let all this food in for the vampires. But they ain't biting them. They want it all. So it's just the part you got to understand. It ain't really talked about by a lot of people. A lot of people don't get it. A lot of people just don't understand it fully what's going on. And I ain't special or anything. I just study this shit. And I try to study all of it. And I'm like, this is coming up too much. And so that book my brother gave me finally smashed the code. And that's why, again, I didn't get fully why so many people was killed in America when they came here. It wasn't just for conquering. It's more than that. More than just for conquering. It's more than that. They had ample amount of human sacrifice. That there was no one else in the world to stop them. They had a free reign. Cortez and them came in, and once they was given control, through disease and everything, they had a free reign of sacrifice. It's never stopped. That's why really what they used in the South, the story they tell you in the South was already done. Everything that they did in America, they first did it down in South America and Mexico. And they just used the same blueprint when they came to America. The same blueprint was used. So now when they went in and just murdered whole towns, we know why they was murdering them. It was also human sacrifice. Yeah, they wanted the land, but they wanted the blood too. Because to conquer the land, they needed a lot of blood into the land. So these Protestants wasn't above it, because these Protestants, remember what it is Isabella and Inquisition do to them. Because Inquisition was still going on. Isabella was saying either switch or die. So what happened is when a lot of them JFPs switched, they only switched in guys. It was only a guy switch. They only switched as long as the Inquisition was on their ass. But what they found out is when they switched, they had a freer hand. Because they had never met anything like the Catholic Church that gave them that free hand to still do the human sacrifice. So that's why they kept it up. They called it something else. Let me get a divination for tonight. So we should be under, yes. Well, I'll give the divination for tomorrow. So tomorrow would be Kaban, which would be day 17. Earth force, synchronicity, power of intelligence, synchronization. For those of you that want to go into it tomorrow, because remember the moon energies are 3 days before and 3 days after. And I guess these could be considered sigils too. Sigils in the count. And so in this card image, we see movement represented by the dying process, which doesn't lead to disappearance, but to movement and transformation. In the hand of the character, there is a parchment containing his or her life story, a representation or recapitulation or relieving that we do at the moment of death. 4 energetic bodies are leaving the physical body of the dead one. From the base of the spine, the vital life force, Equato, known in India as Kundalini, is moving away. From the belly button, a red serpent representing the energy that's used to sustain the individual's life is coming out. Emerging from the throat is a great serpent with the head of Equato, deity of the wind spirit, which represents the emotional body. A 4th smaller serpent coming out of the top of the head, representing the mind thinking body, also as abandoning the physical body. All these energetic serpents are not only disappearing, they're also coming back to the world of energy that is surrounding the human being. The physical body is now an incomplete course, is also becoming part of the energy of the world. Represented by the gray background, soon there will be no trace of the person. In this week card, we see the movement of energy that's used to constitute the individual coming back to its origin, the inland ocean of energy awareness from which everything returns. Oling represents the permanently impermanent nature of life. Life is impermanent at the sense that it is always changing, but is impermanent. Dynamic is the only thing that is permanent. The specific feature of life is what troubles us the most, dealing with a world with a life that never remains the same. Once we manage to understand and adapt to specific movement or situation in life, it changes again and again, bringing new questions, new demands to adapt to something else. The perplexity of this may be expressed in saying, when I finally get all the answers, all the questions have changed. The only way to synchronous with a moving world is with a moving awareness. Not only that, but we need to develop a moving personality, a moving capacity for love, and so on. What you've learned yesterday may not be enough for what you are facing today. You are not even the same person anymore. This realization of a world of constant transformation is what brings forth and gives sense to the whole concept of personal growth and development. Following a spiritual path, because the world and your life are always changing. You have to make sure that you stay in motion too. You have to invent and reinvent yourself again and again and again in your life process. You have to invent and reinvent yourself again and again in your life process. This is the only way to remain in step with the balance, with the ongoing motion of energy that is your life. What you are seeing is just one of the sharp edges of life. Everything is dying from the moment it is born. You are seeing so many things going away that can take your breath away, but you also must keep it moving because there are a lot more coming towards you. This doesn't show what I wanted to show. This doesn't really, I guess in a way it shows the X of motion. But so it'd be 13 platoons, 0 cartoons, 8 tune, 11 uno, 17 kin. So as I give freely, I wanted to give that out on these moon energies. And that's the whole thing, is just be aware. I mean, not only be aware as you move, when you meditate, and you like one of my prayers goes is, in my infinite ball field, I put a mountain in, which is my higher self, but I come out the cave, which is my lower self. And as I said before, when you stand there and all yourselves got to be in line, you can't be ashamed of any of yourselves. There can't be some ahead. There can't be some behind. They all got to stand in one line. You know, Julia shows that in The Magicians. And she's in a room. I'll give it out. But that's what you all have to do. You have to have all yourselves in line. That's true balance. You want to be better than that one over there. You want to be better than that one. You want to be better. You want to be more balanced than this one. Less aggressive than that one, however it goes for you. But this is how you need to be. This is you moving forward. Like it says, you always, like magic is, you just keep out an alchemy. You have to keep measuring it right. To being a better cook, you got to learn to add a couple different spices that make a recipe, that this simple recipe into your recipe. So yeah, I took this base, but I added this shit to it. You have to always evolve. Always evolve. Hey, Siova, what's happening? Thank you for joining. They ate many of the captives and still do. Yeah, Rocky, they definitely did. I mean, that's a part of America they don't talk about, but you can find them writings. You can find the writings of the first time one of the cannibals that was with Columbus that killed it, and how he felt, where he just killed the person because the person had never even seen a sword before. And he talks about how it was, and he talks about cooking the person. Look at the woodcuts. The woodcuts make you think that it's them, that it's the natives that's going crazy and wanting these humans.
I like my key in the garage.
But it's really Columbus and them. Columbus and them was even salting people, taking them back to Europe. You can even find those writings. But find those writings where, again, there wasn't no pigs, wasn't no cows. These people really got tired of eating fish. They didn't want to really eat the birds. The shit that the Europeans ate wasn't in America. That's what you have to understand. And they started eating them people on the island. And then a way that Cortez and even Columbus got away with slavery was saying that they was cannibals. Because Isabella kind of cut. She was like, oh, freeze. You can't slay these people. She even sent some people back that Columbus had brought. She even sent some of them people back. But some of them people still, James, when I have James Branch on, he'll tell you, them people that came from them islands is still, they still remember. Their family history still talks about coming over with those Spanish and being slaved over there. So even the slave trade is opposite. It is not them taking Africans to America. That's a lie. Look at the picture of Columbus. Just anybody, look on Pinterest right now. You can find a picture. He took 20 people, only 4 or 5 survived. And then after a couple months, some of them died. That's how the slave trade started. Was by the Spanish taking people. And then the Spanish and the British was always stealing people off the coastal robbing people. So they try to tell you roots that when they was chasing OJ and them people, they was taking them off the African coast. No, they started that coast robbing, taking off people off the American coast. Pocahontas' daddy is another example of that, where they wouldn't go very deep and just snatch people and get on the boat and take off. Because they weren't powerful enough to beat them people in Americas. So they would just take anybody they would catch and just throw them on a boat. It may be 1, 2, 3, 4 people, throw them on the boat and stroke away to the big ship. So they don't like being looked at as barbarian, but they were very barbaric to our people, to the people of the Americas. And this is history they don't like taught. But it's in the books. Look up the first dude that cannibalized an American person. His whole story, he tells it, how he felt and how the food was so good. But the idea of the person didn't even know what a sword was. The person didn't even know what was really killing him. That he stuck this melon in him, he didn't have no idea what he stuck in him to kill him. And he expresses all those feelings and emotions of killing that first person because he couldn't take it. He had to have some meat. He couldn't take it anymore, so he had to have some meat that reminded him of chickens, that reminded him of beef, that reminded him of goats, shit that's in Europe. And they don't want to tell you, they definitely don't want to tell you salting people and taking them back to Europe. They don't like that part. We're the meat industry. But this goes full circle. These is conversos. Columbus's expedition was paid for by the Jewish faith people that was put out up by Inquisition. They don't want to popularize. And Inquisition was against the Jewish faith people. They was the ones in them torture chambers. This is how the Christians looked at them, as truly evil people, making them confess. This is to them. History's changed that. Like they was just going after anybody. No, they was going after one people. They were in a war against the Moors, which they were in, trying to think of the island, but they were across the country, not in the villages, not in mass numbers like them other folks was. That's who Inquisition was against, them. But they don't like showing that. It's not on us. We weren't in them torture chambers. Look it up. Ziova is the man. Says God has put the best finals close in NBA history. Oh, that's a joke. He took 500 in his first voyage. No, crazy Sarge. He didn't take that many. He only took 20. I mean, if you say how many people of his people he brought, he might have brought 500 people. He didn't take that many people back, though. He only took 20 back, and only 5 survived. You talking about melanated picture of Christopher Columbus? Yeah. No. Are you talking about the melanated? No, not that picture that Dane put up. Not that picture. Put the picture up of him in front of look up the picture of him with Isabella and Fernando. Look that picture up, and you see they brought Indians from the island. They hide real history and call it critical race theory. That's what they're trying to do now. I can't believe they still teach the Columbus and being bullshit in grade school. Kind of do. They kind of do. He's getting shamed now as one of the most bloodiest people in the world ever. Because I know one of my partners that went to Michigan, and I'm not really a partner, I guess a guy I grew up with, but like he must be Italian. He's defending Columbus. He's like, hey, Columbus was born in Geneva. No, he wasn't. He was born in a little town that's supposedly outside of Geneva on one report, the other report that he was born in Portugal. Well, I guess I'm going to have to get up to let him in. So give me a hot second. Plus, I need to stretch my legs. Oh, I guess I don't. Oh, because you took my keys.
I have my keys. This idiot lost my keys to the garrison.
Oh, okay. He's shaking his head.
No, I was like, yo, put this in my wallet.
Why would he put some shit in your wallet? Does he work for you? Does he work for you?
My wallet was next to him.
Okay, but does he work for you?
This is where my key goes?
Your wallet, your key is your responsibility. Yeah.
Is that a stoned banana on your head?
Your mama likes stoned bananas.
I hate you.
I know they brought up them sexually transmitted disease with they stinking asses. They did. I think he was born in Geneva. Well, it's actually a small town it's a suburb of Geneva is what in the book of Isabella, but it also throws that he could have been born in Portugal too. So it throws that part because in Geneva, they don't say that he's a Jewish faith person. But if he's born in Portugal, because in the book of Isabella, they give both births. They give they say, well, there's some word out there that he was a Jewish faith person. So that would have so if he was been born in Geneva, not necessarily so, but they say some people think he's a German, he's a Portugal's born Jewish faith person. So that's kind of how they put it in parentheses. So next time, tell him I hear you knocking, but you can't come in. Yeah. I've told that to him before. I'm kind of locked in here to some wires and yeah. Let's see what the computer's doing. Oh, the computer's good. Okay, so I can't stand up. I definitely want to get my cigar, so give me a second. Oh, all these old legs. Oh. I left my cigar in front of the fan, drying it out. He's like, they're addictive. Well, they help my throat. It definitely helped my throat. I love this Face ID of the iPhone 12 Pro Max. I love that. This shit, you still gotta touch it. Now this is a 9. You still gotta touch it. Oh, okay. Bet, PJ, bet. Okay. We can definitely do that. We can definitely do that. Give me a time. No, hit me with a time. All right, PJ, you hit me with a time. They didn't bring any women on their first trip. They didn't bring any women. He took 3 ships. And they saw a ship sunk right before they get out of the Galapagos Islands or something like that. They see a European. So they had always been going to them islands. The island people had always been coming over to Europe. They knew about them. They knew about them. What did somebody say? If you look at like the sweet potato, the potato, corn, how do you think that made it to Africa? How do you think that stuff made it to Europe? They knew nothing of that. I mean, you can look at the studies of ancient Peru and you can see when the corn people come in. So Europe didn't have that stuff. So you can look at a lot of African foods that came from the Americas. So we know that we went over there. The Omen went around the world. And what does Manly P. Hall say? Mu is called Hathor in Egypt, which is the oldest Egyptian god. It's Hathor. And they try to change it and like, yeah. Gods was the gods, the war of the gods, whatever. Want to tell you that it's Ra. Well, look up. And what's, I'm not going to be disrespectful. I know Jody's listening. What does the brother say? Look up the papyrus and see who's older, Ra or Hecate. Look it up. So I didn't say nothing disrespectful about them brothers, Jody. You know I was about to, but I'm mindful. Because them brothers ain't said that there's no reason for me to disrespect them. They got their thing, I got my thing. And what do they say? You do your thing while I do my thing. That's all. So I caught myself because I like talking shit and I'm hyped. Hey, Kelly, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. So, you know, I ain't stepping on anything. Like it just said, I am perfectly imperfect. And I don't say this out of being perfect. I say this just out of just studying. Just as an elder comes through it and gets this information and puts this information out. Yeah, I understand attacks on us. I understand that. You know, my family was attacked recently. You know, we understand. It's easy to kill drug addicts. That's not a hard thing. And that's sometimes why they chose. Because they're drug addicts and they're easy targets. Okay, Jody. 600 foods in Africa today originated in Americas. There you go. There you go. How I get there? You taking off? Getting picked up?
No, I'm walking on. I see you.
You're walking home?
It's all right.
Are you sure? You got your phone? Your phone charged?
Yeah, my phone's on charge.
All right, take care.
Have a good night.
All right, you too. I guess it ain't too far. Cut through. It'll take him about 20 minutes. I noticed that, Jody. I noticed that. But still, there's no reason for me to talk shit. I talk too much shit anyway. I noticed that too. I noticed that you did. I noticed that you did. I did pick that up. And really, I would watch it because, you know, you would alert me. Because that Pan-African stuff is dead. And they still pushing it. Kemet ain't got nothing to do with us. Not saying that some of the information some of the magic can't apply, but all in all, it's misdirecting the people to say that spiritual system is the spiritual system here, and it's not. There ain't no American growth. As Americans, we've grown up around the ball fields. You went to any school, you grew up around ball fields. It's just that's the way America is, excuse me. So that's the true magic that's yours. But they called it a sport, and they didn't really tell you that it was a spiritual system. They only tell you one part of it because that's the only part they use, but it's much more than that for us. It's a spiritual system as well. And no one really teaches that but me. Aren't I special? But I don't think people understand it. That's the other part, is they don't understand it. They look at the stuff in South America and they don't really understand what it's all telling you. And for some reason, I understand it. I see what the omen had taught and put in motion for the rest of the world to copy. But it just didn't stop with the ball. It just didn't stop with the game. I mean, remember even Shaka Zulu? What did they say before Shaka Zulu? They wasn't killing each other in wars. They would just throw spears and stones at each other, and that would, whatever the problem was, would go away. Well, Shaka Zulu did what the Europeans did. He started bloodlusting people. But when they first showed the beginning of that movie, remember when they just throwing spears? The Americas was the same way in this regard. Is you play the game. Say you fishing on our shit or you hunting on our shit, we play the game and we squash it. We make a new deal where everybody can use this. That's the American way. At least that's how it used to be practiced. Instead of us against them, it was a symbolic game. It was symbolic. The war was symbolic more than bloodlust. And that was the European way. I mean, we talk about America only had 4 years in that war. Look at them in Europe. How long them people ain't been in war? Going back to William the Conqueror, 10 something. Nothing but constant war for them people. And they didn't learn until the 1940s that they had to stop killing each other. They didn't learn that till the 40s. European fought European up until the 40s. And they was like, wait a minute. We can't keep killing each other like this or we're going to disappear because we keep killing each other. So who did America go to war with next? Melanated people in Korea. Melanated people in Vietnam. Melanated people in Panama. Melanated people in Iraq. Melanated people in Afghanistan. Who did they attack since then that wasn't melanated? Who? What Europeans? Well, I guess some people say Bosnia, a little bit in Bosnia. They help one side compared to the other. So what makes sports a spiritual thing? Neighborhood football teams for hunting and fishing rights. There you go. Well, what makes it spiritual is, as I explained earlier, is the energy never leaves. Like I joked before, seeing these Macetos playing baseball, trying to play the infinite ball game on these low little rings. That is obvious. I'm just looking at these fools climbing up these angles and really think you can play a ball game like that. And I'm looking at these idiots like it's obvious a spiritual field. So some of the fields they made were not for playing. They were for the spiritual aspect. This is for the grieving aspect. So when you see the low fields and the low hoops there, them ain't fields to play on. Them is grieving fields. So sometimes you would see both. One side of the land would have the small grieving field, and the other side would have the actual field where they would play the game. But see, you got people that don't understand or don't want to understand it. And of course, they try to in our ball games, they put the European spin on it and all that. But the point of it is we ain't killing each other at war. Football is organized war. Make no doubt about it. It is organized war. More than any other sport other than, I would say, rugby. Football is organized war. But baseball is a lesser aspect. Hockey could be looked at as organized war as well. But we're not killing people. Again, you beating me, you know, it has nothing to do with rights anymore or land. You know, that aspect is gone. It's this town against that town in high school. We're better than you. That kind of thing. I got a light dying. I guess these kind of lights don't just die. They must, and I got a whole damn thing of lights, so I'll replace that. Football teams for hunting and fishing rights. There you go. There you go. But that's part of the aspect of the spiritual aspect of the ball game. I guess like even like looking at South America and the history just goes back this millennium. It goes back almost like the Stellies go back millions of years of the same kind of batons. They've got the baton for millions of years ago. Not just names like they show you, like Stinson shows you with the Sumerians. No, the South American system goes back millions of years with batons. Now, the dates they like giving you is 3,000 years. They try not to make the Mayans very old. That's why they stick on when the calendar started 3,000 years ago, because they say, hey, well, you know, it might have been some of us in Europe that were aware. They try to lie like that. I don't want to tell you how old this stuff really is. And the same thing you see with the heads is you see with the broken off noses and stuff. You see that same thing in South America. You see the same thing where they're trying to break the noses off. Head number one, they bust all this part. Like if you look at head number one, they bust all that part out. Trying to, you know, the problem was they didn't have anything harder than basalt. Courtlands, Sally, thank you for joining. Boxing is the same thing, but it was more one-on-one. You know, boxing, instead of the group playing, you would just have, well, no, let me back up. Boxing, okay, if you've ever heard of what was it called, Indian wrestling, where you're next to each other and you try to flip each other with your legs by both laying on your back. Remember, you put your legs within each other. That kind of wrestling. Same thing with boxing. You know, you had a lot of times you had the people with the most endurance, and they would box or they would wrestle, slap, a lot of these things. So yeah, those were all part of the game. Not really the gladiator aspect. Not really the gladiator aspect wasn't really there like that. But yes, welcome, Carolyn. Thank you for joining. I think, Carolyn, you have your own channel, don't you? Yeah, so that's boxing would probably fall into the thing of an Indian wrestling, of our local champ of endurance, because the boxing would be more of an endurance thing. But it was a type of boxing that was practiced in the Americas as well. Again, boxing is looked at as more as a European kind of sport that basically goes back to the early 1800s. Is what we consider the modern type of boxing. Even what they call it the Queensberry rules go back to like the 18th century. So that is it's quite a different sport. However, because of the ring, there's other nations that practice that same kind of thing. But boxing is more like gladiators. If you really look at it, it's more like gladiator. It's their form of gladiators that they took from the Romans. Yeah, Carolyn has a channel. I thought so. I think we're friends on Facebook, but welcome. So boxing is really another version of gladiators. So I would say that's more European. The only other thing I could really mix it with is the Indian wrestling. If anybody's familiar with it, and I haven't done Indian wrestling in a long time, but that's the only thing I can equate it with. So, yeah, that's all. But that's what I've kind of, made my life, is studying this stuff. And like I say with See Over and Keep It Techie, is being able to take this information and make it applicable, make it functional for everybody. Try to tell it how to make it easy for you, to use it. And that's where you get the real teachers, is the ones that can can make it practical. That's the old man and I've been striking with, how to make it practical for you. And that's why I think a lot of people, it misses, you miss people because you're telling people this, but how to make it practical in their lives. How can I practice some of this in my life? How can I make this useful in my life? And that's what I try to show, that sports is more than just a competition. There's a spiritual side that has been going on in the Americas. Again, the Batum started at one time, one Batum. And each platoon is like 144,000 some years. So, but I hope everybody is feeling this energy that's going on tonight, because it's free energy. It is the true free energy that is given by the moon setting. The energy's 3 days coming, and the energy is going to be another couple of days, that you can still bathe in these energies. That helps your knowing, that helps your magic. That if people all over the world have looked at this and saying that this planet or this object, whatever it is close to me, and there is a type of lunacy that's released. And so how can you turn this lunacy into something practical for me? How can I make this lunacy into something positive and practical for me? However, if you just an alchemy or just a cook and an alchemist, make you a better cook. It's just something to give you a little more energy. We've got so many daggers just holding us down. Everything we do is just holding us down. Don't be spiritual. Go into religion. Go into this thing. Go into that thing. Go into this thing. And nothing to really release you. Nothing to prepare you for death. Most of them make you, just fearful of death. Death is the beginning. It ain't the end. It's the beginning. Like Obi-Wan said, you kill me, I'm going to be stronger. So of all that's going around is just fear, fear, fear. Remember the Rodney Piper with the glasses, just fear when you could see through the propaganda, fear, fear, fear. I mean, I was saying yesterday, I'm watching shows up to when I did my show at midnight, and I'm watching 2 hours of just killing. First, it shows children being killed at a camp, and then children killing at a camp. And then the next movie is these spies killing each other. It's like, so that's all modern life is killing? Makes you think it is. The number one Netflix shows is pretty much all shows with killing. I don't understand the vampire werewolf thing on Netflix, why people would be so intrigued to watch them again with the pale people against the lichens. I mean, could they find paler people, paler mustache, paler makeup? They got all these people super pale. And then you got a girl that's just some of the worst acting ever. Oh, my goodness. But we welcome Carolyn. Carolyn has her own show. See if that's something that vibrates with you. And so I bring in everybody. Everybody's welcome. I don't try to pile in on people. I don't try to put people down. I don't want to go back and forth. That's why when I was talking about the witch, I don't want to go back and forth with her. I'm just like, okay, sis, you got your point. I hurt your feelings. Get over it. Killing them rainbows. There you go. But that's my point. I'm like, sis, okay, you won. You win. You won. But you hurting other people. I'm your target, but it's affecting people around me that ain't even my family. So I ask you to stop, because your magic is not precise. Your magic is affecting people. You do not know that you ain't a cold person like that. Okay, you want to affect me? Cool, affect me. But it didn't work. You affecting people that ain't that boy with autism doesn't deserve to be attacked, because you attacking me. He doesn't deserve that. He can't even. I asked him, like, what happened to you? He can't even tell me what happened to him. He couldn't tell a worker why he got these bites all up and down his legs. He doesn't even know. He just knows his parents threw out his bed. And that come from you, sis. That's on you. Because you ain't got good magic. You reckless with your magic. You got so mad at me for turning down your proposal that you just threw some shit at me and I was able to ricochet and it bounced somewhere. So that's on you. You got to pull that off. So if any of your people watching, you make sure you tell her, okay, you won. You won. You got to stop this. And I ain't going to threaten you. I'm not going to threaten you, but it's going to be, it'll be something if you don't stop. I'll say that. So please stop. Oh, I do weather anomalies and weather warfare. Okay, that interests me. You could probably deal with Dr. Anders pretty much. She shows a lot of those anomalies. Same here. Okay, we will check you out. You have anything with Dr. Anders? I forget about her since they took away my channel. I think I'm already subscribed to you, though. Oh, my poor little candle. What is the damn thing? Oh, there it is. The wick is the wrong way. Trying to burn the wick out. Yeah. Might have to throw that one away. I'll burn some more sage. Tell you one thing that messes me up that I can't be around is damn nail polish remover. You talk about affecting my asthma. Woo. That shit seems like it takes oxygen out the air. I cannot be around nail polish remover. Oh, that stuff chokes me. I mean, literally chokes me. Like it just takes the oxygen right out the air. Oh, yeah. I saw that Marshall sells sticks like pretty affordable. I don't know how old the sage is, but it's pretty affordable. Oh, tomorrow I'll let you know about something that happened to me during my separation, my first marriage. I think it's funny. Now you might lose it when okay. The witches of the Matrix are real deal. Oh, again, yes, they are. They are. You know, I just like only thing I did to chick was like, look, magic ain't just about money. That's pretty much what I was telling her. It ain't about money. You can get abundance without having money. And yeah, I trolled, and that was wrong. You know, in my mature mind, 3-4 years ago, I was on attack on Facebook. I've since learned. But you like me enough to try to get me to marry you, sis. So you saw something in me. Nail polish remover. Oh my God, I can't be around it. I mean, if it's one thing that triggers my asthma, is nail polish remover. It feels like people take the oxygen out the air. If you open that bottle up in the room I'm in, it's almost like people start taking something like a chemical is released that is removing the oxygen. That's how it makes me feel. And so, looking to emojis, are sigils. Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, emojis it's easier to put the emojis in. So it's an easy sigil. It's an easy sigil for people to pass on too. So they have to figure out easy sigils now, or easy things that people will pass on, like the furries. Sly was the one that put about the furries, and the furry pictures being people that like having sex with wearing animal things. That was Sly that put that in there. I think a couple years ago, he was talking about that, and people still do it. And you are imitating a sexual ritual. So, you have to understand these behaviors and what's really behind the behaviors. Yes, it looks funny, but understand really, they ain't giving this stuff out for nothing. They don't want it. When they want it passed on, they want it passed on for a reason. Like I say, at the end of the day spell. How is it that in 17, I'm only hearing a couple people saying, and no more overnight, all the people on TV, all the talking heads on ESPN, all the talking heads on sports, on Sports Fox. All of them is saying it. Like it's like right now, it's to the point where brother can't even talk. Brother's rapping and he stops and well, you know, I mean, it's like that is the way. It's a filler word. I agree, it's a filler kind of thing. But on the other hand, it's a spell. It's a parrot spell that's put out there. So you've got to break. That is one simple way to break away from this matrix, is not to push their parrot spells, because every few years they pass them on. I mean, cap is the newest spell. No cap mean it ain't funny, or you not lying. So you got to understand there's a reason the way they push words. Michelangelo's paintings, bestiality, aesthetic. I did a video on sigils and emojis. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Esoteric Mirror is a great channel. He reveals hidden images and chasing paintings. Bestiality, yeah, bestiality, exactly. What's his name? Aesthetic Mirrors. Because I work with mirrors too. I'll check him out. I will check him out too. I got ESPN on. So when Naomi Osaka lit the torch, they had a woman with the geisha mask on looking like I am the Chimera. Yes, yes, yes. Slizamation, beware. We already know that. That ain't nothing new. We know that too. We know that. I don't think he hides that. I have to check, but the checkerboards. Why are the Japanese, all of them that working for the stadium, wearing checkerboard? And then there's one shot where the whole field is checkerboard. Like that's something I ask my son all the time: is why is Western occult so deep into Japanese anime? It just, I don't understand that. But it's like all their anime. That's why I like the Tess. That's why I like Tess. Tess did 8 or 9-ish episodes, and it wasn't one eye symbol to the end. And one eye symbol ain't just, Marduk all the time. But it is interesting that anime, one of the few where they don't use it throughout. It's like the last episode they use it. But it doesn't necessarily have to mean Marduk. So I understand. I do understand. Well, I've been going on 2 hours and a half. What time is it? Oh, I'd just be coming on right now. So I'm gonna get to bed a little earlier. I guess I'm not saying anything new. I'm talking in circles. So I guess I'll cut this short. Moving all my protections. Because I keep them all here for a little longer, just a little longer. So I just wanted to be joyful for everybody tonight. I know I get on to my rants and stuff, but basically, I love people. When you go into the ethers, a lot of times the archons will tell you, what are you trying to do? Or you'll ask the archon, what is my point? Why am I here? And a lot of times the archon will say to save the world. Well, we know it's past not to save the world. That's bad information. The truth is to save yourself. That's really what you want to do. Now, if the information you provide helps in saving the world, then that's something too. However, the main thing is to save yourself. Because all we can do is present information. That's all we can do. We can just present information. This dyslexia shit as I'm getting older. Like I always wonder why I couldn't copy shit as a child. They're like, he can't copy and it's just so easy to copy. Yeah, I can't it's hard. It takes me a minute to look at something. And then just be able to bring it out. Yeah. Carolyn and I are friends on Facebook. So enjoy your Saturday morning. I know usually we go deep into it, but I've been going on 2.5 hours, and you know, what do you think about the Pacquiao Earl Spence fight? You know, I don't understand. Pacquiao is a littler dude who's moved up in weight. He's what, 500 years old? He's 500 years old. I don't understand why he would want all that Spence is bringing. So, what is the interest? You got a guy at the top of his game fighting a 500-year-old fighter. I don't get that. I don't get it. But right now, Pacquiao is the only money. They're not going to let Spence fight Crawford because Crawford is a slave and it doesn't mind being a slave. Crawford does not mind being a slave. He is in a slave contract. He doesn't mind being a slave. He has one of the worst contracts. I think he just re-upped with Arum. So, he's not going to get the big money fighting on the bigger stages because the businessman in him ain't learned. The people with him ain't good people. The people are not good people, good business people around him. So he's on an island by himself. So the top fight is with Spence. Spence and Crawford is what people want to see. But because of Crawford's business practices, Spence doesn't need to mess with him. He's tied into a bad contract. And he re-signed another bad contract. So at some point, you got to say, leave that dummy over there. Ducking water. Cheated, pulled out. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. They did pull out of it. But Fury can't even fight in England. He's so dirty. He can't even fight over there in his home area. He got to fight somewhere else because they banned him from fighting there. So, well, as I finish every night, I finish with some time walking information, which is Mora. And Mora was a kind of a way for the time walking people to make each other feel better. It all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that they had exact numbers of years and days before they would disappear off the earth as a culture and a lifestyle. But the civilization they built would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the Great Serpent. And as the Mayan would say, I am another yourself. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I'm your host. Eight Wind is timeless. Thank you all for coming and spending time with the elder on this full moon. And as always, till we meet again, thank you.